Hey guys, Benny Braden here, Plug It In Hikes, and I kind of want to go over with you on the gear that I carried whenever me, Matt, and Will did the Long Trail just a few weeks ago. It was a great trail, had a lot of fun, didn't have any major gear issues or anything of that nature, but I kind of wanted to let you know what I carried, if I used it, and if I did, how it worked. So let's get to it. I want to talk to you about the clothes that I wore first off. For shirt, I wore the Patagonia Capilene lightweight long sleeve. I wanted to go with a long sleeve just because of the mosquitoes and the black flies, and it worked out great, phenomenally. I'm super happy with it. Lightweight, weighs about 3 ounces. I also carried an extra one for whenever I would do laundry. This way I'd have a clean shirt to wear, or to wear it at night if I didn't want my sleeping bag to get all sweaty. Next off is my shorts. I wore, I used the Under Armour stretch pants or stretch shorts. They're very flexible, very stretchy, dries quickly. There's one evening that we stopped at a motel, or actually it was an Airbnb whenever we got done in Burlington, and I washed my clothes real quick in this sink and hung them up on this rack and had a fan blowing, and before you knew it, these were dry. So I was able to wear them out that night. I didn't have to wear my pants, rain pants. Obviously, underwear, I like the Asphyxios 9-inch boxer briefs. They work real well. They breathe real well, and they don't hold a lot of odor, so that is perfect. My gaiters. I know on Twitter I said I was using the Z-Packs Virtus Rain gaiters. I changed my mind at the last minute because I got to thinking about all the mud, and I didn't want to destroy those gaiters right out of the bat. So I chose to go with my trusty Urban Camo Dirty Girl gaiters. They worked great. I might use those on the JMT. I'm not sure. I'll be doing a video on that later on tomorrow. Next, I used a North by North wool handkerchief. This thing worked phenomenal. You can see kind of the logo there. I was able to wear this thing, and it helped keep the black flies off my face, off my neck. Kept mosquitoes off. I sprayed all my clothes with permethrin before I left, and we had 0 ticks issues. We had no mosquitoes. And how I'd wear this thing during the day, especially if it was warm, and we were like on top of Camel's Hump, where you're completely exposed, I would wear this handkerchief like this. And as I'm hiking, it's catching air right in here, and it's keeping my neck cool, keeping bugs off, keeping the sun off, keeping me from getting sunburned, so I'm not having to carry sunscreen or anything like that. So this thing worked phenomenal. Even at night, there's a few spots that we slept where we had mosquitoes really bad, and I was able to lay this over my head, and that pretty much took care of any kind of mosquitoes kind of wanting to get to my face or head. So that worked good. As far as other articles of clothing, of course, I had my BlackRock Scully beanie. This is the one I prototyped for them. It worked great. I wore it several times. Our temperatures were roughly, on average, somewhere in the 60s to 70s. We did have an 80 degree day, but at night we were hovering around 40 degrees. And so this thing, I wore this a lot at night, just to kind of keep my head warm. During the day, of course, I'm wearing a hat a lot of times just because it breathes real well. This is my old trusty Ghost Z-Packs trucker hat. You can see it's pretty well worn in. This thing probably has like 15 or 1600 miles on it, just to be honest with you, but it's really cool, sun bleached. Pretty awesome, very comfortable. Love this hat. Carry it with me everywhere. if it got a little cool, I mean, there's a few times that it got cold and I needed to, like we got wet one day and we'd stop every couple hours and we would go to the next shelter and we'd stop and take a break, take care of our feet, take our shoes off, and just eat a little bit. And sometimes whenever I was just soaking wet, I would just take my shirt off, my jacket off, and just put my Goose Feet gear jacket on. This is the same jacket. You can see the Goose Feet logo there. This is the same jacket that Ben made me for my last Smokies 900 miler, and it's still going strong. Great jacket, lightweight. I think it weighs roughly around, I think it's like 8 ounces or something like that. Of course, my Virtus rain jacket worked real well. Before I left, I did treat it again with a DWR coating, and that helped. On the Bent Mackay, it kind of wetted out a little bit, just because we had so much rain and in such a long period that at that point there's nothing that's going to keep rain out that's going to be breathable. But anyways, that's the clothes I wore. As far as the shoes, these are the shoes that I wore. My Brooks Calderas. These particular ones have about 700 miles on them, maybe 8. You can see the sole, the tread. It's still pretty good. Not too bad. There's no rips, tears, or holes. I mean, typically with the Cascadias, you'll get a hole right here. I know Will had a pair of Cascadia 12s that had like a huge hole that he could have stuck half of his foot out. But these are holding up well. I did carry a bug net with me, the little head net, but you know, really didn't need it. I did wear it one night just because the mosquitoes were just, I wanted to make sure they weren't going to get to me even though I had my North by North handkerchief on. Next, clothes I carried with me. I carried my clothes in the Z-Packs dry bag. Carried an extra pair of underwear. Came in handy. These are the socks that I wore. The 1/4 inch socks by Darn Tough. They worked real well. They were nice and thick, somewhat, and that was okay. But once I got to town, I got to where I really didn't want that anymore. You know, I kind of wanted something a little bit thinner. When I started my hike out, I started out wearing some calf sleeves. My therapist, which everybody knows I have some issues with my left foot and left ankle, they thought that would help keeping some of the swelling down, so I wore them for the first 10 days. After that, I didn't wear them anymore, and I'm not sure that I'm going to wear them on the JMT either. It just seemed like I was at a point where I didn't need them anymore. Carried an extra pair of socks. My Virtus rain pants came in handy. There was a day or two that I wore them on trail whenever it was raining. I just didn't want to get my shorts wet or anything like that. And also one day, like whenever we went to Rutland and resupplied while my shorts were being washed, I wore my rain pants. So that worked perfectly. Beside that, that's it. Backpack. Backpack worked great. This is my prototype Arc Haul that everybody knows I have. Made out of the black on black done in a grid stop or a grid stop material. The only thing different from this material than the material Z-Packs typically uses now is that the white squares, the thread is typically white, so you see like white squares in there for lines. You don't see that with this material. Those lines are dyed black. This has been a good pack. Will had it before I did, and but it's treated me well. You can see I carried my sit pad on the back. I was watching Matt. That's the way Matt carried his, so I thought, hey, let's give it a try, and I really liked it that way. Next, I carried, I don't have it down here, but I carried my Vargo dig tool. It came in handy a few times, which we ended up staying at shelters, so we used the privy a lot, so that worked out good. Next, I carried my toiletries, which was basically, you know, a little bit of toilet paper, not very much, inside a Ziploc bag, a dry towel, which is basically just a chamois cut down, nothing major, and what I used to go to the bathroom and deal with all that was a portable bidet. I think this one's made by Hygiena. This thing works great, just goes inside of a water bottle, a typical water bottle that you would get, and it's a portable bidet. I mean, it just allows you to kind of clean off. And of course, I carried Dr. Bronner's soap with me, and it allowed me to make sure I was good and clean, number one. Number two, when you're hiking in the summertime, you sweat a lot, and a lot of sweat deposits, salt deposits, collect down there in the nether regions. And that's why a lot of times we'll lead to chafing. And I did have some chafing issues, and when I had those, it's whenever I was going to the privy and using toilet paper and not really using my bidet to wash off. So one of the things I like about the bidet is, number one, it's lightweight. Number two, not only am I getting clean, but I'm washing away all the salt deposits, so I'm not going to chafe. Three is I'm washing my hands. It forces me to physically wash my hands. Sometimes mentally we just kind of get out there and we just forget about personal hygiene. But this really kind of, you know, you want to make sure you're washing your hands, and you know, and that's how a lot of germs and different diseases and things like that are spread, is by, you know, going to the bathroom, we're not washing our hands, and we're touching things, sticking in our mouth. I'm washing my hands very thoroughly on this, so I really love that system. A friend of mine, Jeremy, really turned me on to the whole bidet thought, and then my buddy Chad over at Sticks Blog really took it the step further and introduced me to this Hygiena bidet, portable bidet, and it's worked perfectly. So that's what I plan on actually using on the JMT. In my side pockets of my pack, I carried, this is a zip pouch from Z-Packs that I carried my passport in, because we did go to Canada while we were there, and I flew home from Canada. So that was very handy to have. I didn't have to worry about none of that stuff getting wet whenever I was out on trail. I used the 2018 version of the Black Diamond Spot. It worked out perfectly. Only one set of batteries, didn't need them. I did carry an extra set of batteries, but that wasn't necessary. Another zip pouch that I carry all my cords and cables in. One for my phone, one for my GoPro, and then one for my charger. And I did carry a wall charger for whenever I would go resupply. It has 2 ports in it, allows me to use that. It's made by Anchor, worked out well as a 13,000 milliamp charger battery bank by Anchor. You can see I got my SafeRing sticker and my BlackRock sticker on there. Last minute, I did pick up a mini SD card reader by GoPro for my iPhone, just so I could kind of look at some stuff. I'm not sure if I like the performance of that yet or not. A few times it wouldn't allow me to save onto my phone, so it's kind of one of those things. Another thing, while we're talking about it, I switched to the iPhone 8 Plus. I finally gave up my LG G5. It took phenomenal pictures. I loved it, but the video quality was not what I wanted. So that's why I switched to the iPhone, and I've been happy with it. Not terribly disappointed or anything like that. Next, another zip pouch. This is my other stuff that, you know, you kind of need like your toothbrush. You can see I got my Z-Packs toothbrush. I carried a little bitty tin of massage cream. Now why did I use the massage cream? Because I brought my gauche tool that I use on my foot and my Achilles. This allows me to break up any scar lesions in the tissue, and really enables me to take care of my fascia on the bottom of my foot in addition to that, but also my Achilles tendons and any other issues I have with my legs. I mean, you can use it all over your body if you want. But whenever you're using this and you've got scar tissue, it sounds like Rice Krispies whenever you're scraping your leg. So, but anyways, this thing here, I mean, I carried, you know, Band-Aids, some Leukotape, some moleskin, earplugs, nasal strips, because I do snore. Everybody snores. The ones who don't admit it are lying to themselves and everybody else. Some Cuban repair tape, just for all my equipment. I did pick up a set of fingernail clippers because my fingernails were like going nuts by the end of the trail. An extra bottle cap to my Powerade bottles that I was using to put my Scratch Lab stuff in. And it came in handy because when me and Matt were collecting some water one evening, he lost his cap. I had an extra one, we replaced it. And when we went in town, we just bought another bottle of Powerade. Hand sanitizers, breast strips, and that's pretty much it. That's what I keep in that. That was very lightweight, very handy to have, and all that. I did carry the shoulder pouch on my pack this time to put my phone in and my GoPro in the front netting. That worked out really well. I typically haven't been using that. It's something new I started using, and I really liked it. It was easy to get to. Didn't have any issues. I knew where my phone was, where my GoPro was, things like that. Next thing I used once was this umbrella. This is my Flex Light umbrella, and honestly, I'm not sure that I'm going to take it on the JMT. I only used it one time on this trip, and I really didn't even need it then. I had my rain jacket on, my rain pants. So I probably won't carry that next time. Other things I carried, I keep my sleeping pad and pillow inside of a dry bag. Of course, I carry a little bit of Tyvek in order to lay down on the floor of a shelter to lay my sleeping pad on. This is my pillow. This is a Sea to Summit pillow. And then I use the regular Neo Air for a sleeping pad. All those worked out great, had no issues or anything like that. I use an OpSac dry bag in addition to my older style Z-Packs food blast bag. Those worked great. I carried 7 days worth of food, no issues. Had my 20-degree Z-Packs sleeping bag. Worked out great. It was actually too hot for what I needed, and I thought I was going to melt down one night. I mean, I was sweating pretty good, but it worked out. Then, of course, my duplex, my camo duplex. I did get a new outer cover stuff sack. My old stuff sack was starting to come apart, so they sent me another one. But this tent worked great. I only used it like maybe 3 or 4 times. We slept in, we slept in shelters most of the time, and but it was nice having the tent to have your own little space. I did carry a water filter with me, and this is an interesting story. I did carry my water filter. This is a filter Sawyer Mini. First time I ever wanted to try it, just to kind of see how it was going to work out. And I took my Evernew bag because an ever new bag is a lot more dependable than the Sawyer bags. These do not match up. I could have swore that they did, but they don't. So I had issues there. There was one time that I needed to filter water, and this was not available to me. Fortunately, Matt had his Be Free filter and was generous enough to let me use that. So I did filter one bottle of water on there, and so I'm glad he was kind enough to let me use that. A couple other things that I had. Of course, I had my Wally X prescription sunglasses. Most of you know that I wear glasses now. I have to have glasses to see things in a distance. So I wanted to make sure I could see all the cool stuff that was around me. So that's why I took those. And I actually only wore them like maybe once or twice. But they were good to have. Next, obviously I carried some earbuds. I may be switching to the AirPods. I think what Apple has, about 159 bucks, the wireless version of these. I may be switching to those on the JMT. I'll figure that out. And of course I carried my chest pouch, the Z-Packs multi-pack. I have these clipped. I have clips sewn on to my shoulder straps, and that thing just sits right here. And I use this to carry my daily ration of food, my glasses. Sometimes I'd put my phone in there or my wallet or whatever I needed. And then once I got to town, I took my strap with me too. So I was able to clip it, walk around, you know, kind of like a man purse kind of deal, but able to walk around town and have everything I need in there without having to leave anything, you know, everything I kind of wanted to carry, you know, my battery chargers, anything that was expensive that I didn't want to leave at the hostel or wherever unattended, I could carry it with me no problem. So that worked out very well. Z-Packs trekking poles, obviously they did great. I did have an issue with one of my tips finally broke off. The very end piece, you see that little piece right there, the little knob, that finally wore down or broke off, or one or both. And so Will had fell, and as he fell on the trail, he actually broke his pole. And he had the shop send him another pole when we got to Waterbury. And then I took the bottom shaft out of his because it was fine and replaced mine. So I'm back in business. It really didn't bother me anyways, but I carry my little rubber stub for whenever I travel because it's, you know, these are strapped in my pack and all that, so it keeps those from like cutting into anything and destroying my gear or anything of that nature. With my little deal, I had to fly up to Connecticut and then fly back from Canada. So I used the travel bag Z-Packs has, and this thing worked phenomenal. I was able to slide my backpack inside this, roll it up, flip this shut, and then use this little carabiner to kind of clip it shut as well. And that worked great. Had no issues, nothing missing, nothing broke, anything like that. But anyways, that is my gear that I used on the Long Trail Thru-Hike that we just finished up just a few days ago. If you have any questions about any of the gear that I used, or have wondering if I had any other certain issues out of anything, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, y'all have a great day. Be looking for the gear, the pre-gear video for the John Muir Trail. I'm going to try to shoot that later today, if not tomorrow, and get it up on the channel. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a great day, and God bless.